Is my training effective? Is this random, gentle, compassionate approach useful for someone that's trying to compete at a world level or not? I don't know. Let's find out. God morgon från Lund, Sverige. Good morning from Lund, Sweden. I know I haven't posted a vlog in a while because I have been so busy getting ready for the World Nordic Ski Championships for Masters that I just haven't had a chance to edit. So here we are. It is the beginning of February, and in about 10 days, I am going to be competing on the world stage. So what I'm going to do is show you what it looks like from here forward through the championships, and then I'm going to go backwards, and I'm going to show you the month of January and the month of December, because a lot of really cool stuff happened, and I recorded it, but just haven't had a chance to edit it yet. And one of the big reasons is the house projects that I've been working on, trying to get them done before I leave, or before I left, and also December, the holidays, and the new year are probably the most intensive periods of the year for coaching for me. Lots of people trying to make sense of their year and also trying to start the new year off on a positive note or an empowered note. So anyway, here we go. Welcome to Sweden. In a couple days, I'm going to Finland, and it's going to be off the hook. I'm out enjoying my last ski at Prospect before I head to Sweden tomorrow, and then Finland on the 7th, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you can see how dark blue that sky is, but it's what they call a bluebird day. Ah, heaven. Anyway, I'm feeling good. I did a 5K tempo earlier today, and it wasn't an all-out effort, and I got a few PRs on some Strava segments, but in a much longer effort. And the snow isn't super fast, so that means I'm fitter than I've ever been, or my technique is better than it's ever been, which is probably the case. Anyway, last day, feeling good. Now I just have to try not to get sick or hurt between now and the first race on the 10th or the 11th. All right, now I head down the mountain. Looking at the vegan section, and their cheese is oddly good, and it's flavor slices. Flavor slices. Plant-based bones. 4 a.m., February 7th, Lund, Sweden. Leg 2 begins, heading to Copenhagen to fly to Helsinki, and then Kajaani, Finland, where it is well below zero. It's probably going to be 10, 12 below Fahrenheit when we get there. Yeah. Listen to that snow squeak. Good morning from Vuokatti, Finland. It was 23 below Fahrenheit when I woke up. I think it's minus 15 now. Yeah, it's cold and there's a lot of snow and it's really nice here. And we're gonna go for a walk to see the ski stadium, the ski service center, the trails, which I think are right across the street from me, and maybe go to a grocery store. And I don't have a car, so we're gonna be walking, so we're bundled up. Come see what it looks like. This is the little cabin I'm staying in, and we've got some bikes in case we need them here. So those will come in really handy. The ski trails are right across the street, but right across the street is not a ski trail. It's a snowshoe trail, which is kind of awesome. Yeah. The trees are so far apart. It's not like a northeast forest. It reminds me of Bend, Oregon, where the pines are separated quite a bit. So it's 11 a.m. and the sun is barely above the horizon. This is great. Here we are at the ski tracks. Yeah, super firm. So the boot covers that I got don't like the extreme cold, and this is my second time wearing them and they have completely fallen apart. So I am without boots. The man that inspired my 900 plus hours of training a year, Ivo Niskanen. This is where he trains. Pretty cool. This is the ski tunnel in Vuokatti. It was the first ski tunnel in the world. They can ski year round here. And on super cold days, they come in here to ski as well. Like today. You can see the tunnel that they have carved for the walking path. And you can walk pretty much everywhere here. It's amazing. It is my first day of skiing here. It's 15 below zero. It is warmed up. It's too cold to ski yesterday, but I'm all bundled up and gonna get some skiing in. So here we go. Beautiful forest. And about a 200-meter walk on that trail to the cabin I'm staying in. I just finished my first ski here in Vuokatti. And it's minus 15 Fahrenheit, the coldest I've ever skied, but I was pretty warm, except for my eyelashes freezing shut on a regular basis. But it's so beautiful out there. The snow is squeaky and slow. Hopefully it gets a little bit faster for the race, but it's a grind. So we just went to a shoe store in Sotkamo, Finland, so that I could get some boots because my overboots fell apart in one use. And the gentleman there didn't speak English, and we eventually got him to understand that I needed a size 46 boot. And he made all kinds of hand gestures and spoke Finnish, saying that he didn't have them. And he felt so bad that when I brought my glove liners up to the counter, he made gestures saying, "They're free, just take them, I'm sorry that we didn't have boots for you, just take them." They're so cute. So they play a sport here that I've never seen, and there's a stadium right behind this building. But they're holding baseball bats, but it's not baseball and it's not cricket. I don't know what it is. If you do, let me know. Ski trails going right through town. Who wants a scanned burger or pizza bag? Some red beet pasta and some broccoli for din din. And to finish the dish, I added a little bit of hummus. Yum. This is what you look like when you ski in Finland on a very cold day. Post-ski lunch, some sauteed broccoli and sweet potato mash. I'm watching Finnish television and they're showing the under-23 World Championships, and there goes Johnny Hagenbach. Dartmouth College. Hagenbuch, they call him. John Steele Hagenbuch. Go, Johnny, go! It's a map of all the ski trails in this area. It is incredible. And the lakes are all frozen solid, so they become ski lanes as well that are groomed. But you're looking at hundreds of kilometers of trails there. So here's this Finnish sport that looks like baseball a bit, but everybody carries a bat. I'm not sure how it works or what it is. Heading to the opening ceremonies, and they have the path lit with these really cool ice candles.
Warm welcome all the participants, teams and guests to the Masters World Cup 2024 in the heart of winter sports, Vuokatti.
Lämpimästi tervetuloa kaikki hiihdon ystävät tänne Vuokattiin, talviurheilun ytimeen, veteraanien MM-hiihtoihin.
Herzlich willkommen alle Teilnehmer, Teams und Gäste zu Masters World Cup 2024 im Herzen des Wintersports, Vuokatti.
Ja annetaan rankvat aplodit myös Ukrainalle.
Ukraine! Ukraine!
Ja sitten Yhdysvallat.
United States, welcome!
Ja viimeisenä, rakkaat ystävät, järjestävä maa Suomi-Finland ja lipun kantajana toimii kansallissankarimme moninkertainen arvokisamitalisti, hopeamitalisti Hilkka Niivuori.
And the hosting country Finland, that is carried by national hero, world champion, Olympic medalist Hilkka Niivuori.
Sparkly snow, sparkly snow. So sparkly. Looks like we're going to be the first ones to ski here this morning. It's about 15 below 0 Fahrenheit, but the tracks look amazing. I'm finishing up a ski before I go over and watch the first race, which is the classic 20K. And then tomorrow I compete in the freestyle 10K, and then later in the week, a freestyle 20 and 30K. Beautiful birch trees. I love how they drape over in the cold. Gorgeous. So there's the midday sun in Finland. It's barely above the horizon, but it's beautiful. It's a gorgeous sunny day. It's not going to last long, but it's beautiful. There's a polar plunge down there in the lake. I wonder how many people have been using it in this crazy weather. The roads here in Finland could well be ski or snowmobile trails. They're totally snow covered. And you can either drive your car or your snowmobile to work. People drive crazy here on these roads. And they're quite slippery. Maybe that's why most of the best tire companies in the world are from Finland. These guys. Studs and super aggressive tread. A Hakkapeliitta. Of course it's a Hakkapeliitta. We have arrived at Monday morning. Yesterday's race was canceled because it was too cold. And today's not looking good. That's Fahrenheit, not Celsius. So legal race conditions are -4 Fahrenheit or -20 Celsius. I don't know. I hope they don't cancel today too. It's 3 hours before the race, if they actually have the race. So it's time for my beet juice, which is not fun, but it's really good for you, and supposedly it provides an athletic benefit. Bottoms up. It is a beautiful day here in Finland. It's -8 Fahrenheit as we walk the 2 kilometers to the stadium. Beautiful walk to the arena this morning. Really stunning scenery. Today's race has also been canceled. It's not going to get above -20 Celsius or -4 Fahrenheit. So we're going to go on a ski tour on the lakes towards Sotkammo. Since the race was canceled today, I'm going to get a long ski in, and I'm going to try some face tape rather than pulling this up, because when I have that up, my glasses fog instantly, and I want to wear glasses in the race. So hopefully the face tape protects my face and allows me to wear glasses. Let's see. Just skied 24 kilometers and it was awesome out there in the sunset. Loved it. -15 Fahrenheit right now, but it looks like at race time at 3 p.m. it should be race legal. Maybe we'll get a race in today. Gonna test out my skis and see which ones are fastest. Although on snow this cold, nothing is really that fast. I've got my 3 pair of skis lined up, and you can see the Rosanols have the biggest gap, or the highest camber, followed by the Solomon and then the Modsus. And you can see where they come together at the tips and at the tails. And it looks like the Rossi keeps its width way up here. They're still really far apart, meaning it's a super stiff ski, and it's very wide. Whereas the Modsus really taper down, and the Solomon are kind of in the middle. So the Modsus is going to be easier to flatten out, which means it might be better for cold snow. And yesterday they were rockets. So the Rossis might be terrible because they're harder to flatten out. And on cold snow, you want to produce friction to melt the snow. So the more ski that touches the ground, the more friction you produce. So I'm going to test and see which ones are fastest. It's not just the wax you put on them, but it's actually the shape and stiffness of the ski. So the Solomons lost that test by a long shot. It's a toss-up between the Razzies and the Matsus. The Matsus might be a little faster, but they want to slide around a bit on the trail because there's no groove in the front, the top third of the ski. The Razzies have a lot more control, but they might be slower. So, got to do some more tests in the stadium near race start. The drama of the 2024 World Championships continues. I just got word that they're not going to do a 10K race today. They're going to do a 5K race, and they're going to do a classic and then a skate immediately after, because we have a tiny window this afternoon where it's going to be at the -4 Fahrenheit legal limit, -20 Celsius. So they don't think there's enough time to do a 10K, and they won't be able to groom after the classic race. So there's going to be classic tracks in the skate tracks, not ideal. 5K, not ideal for me. I'm more of a long distance guy. 5K is a sprint on skis. So 20K was canceled. Now the 10K turns into a 5K. Not the championships I'd hoped for, but on a positive note, I have not been feeling good anyway. I haven't slept since I left Vermont, literally. I don't think I've slept 5 minutes. This is something that used to happen to me in the past. Over, say, the past 4 or 5 years, I've been able to sleep maybe 4 or 5 hours a night, but for a lot of my 30s and 40s, I might at most get an hour of sleep a night. I would just lay in bed and not fall asleep. My mind just doesn't turn off. So I have not slept in days, many days, and my lower back is killing me, which is also one of the reasons that I'm not sleeping. I don't know what I did. Maybe it was sitting on the plane and sitting in airports and wearing a backpack that weighs about 30 pounds, but my lower back has been going nuts. So I have been really pessimistic about my potential performance anyway. Kind of gotten to the point where it's like, I may just have to write these championships off. I don't think anything good is going to come of it. So a 5K, I think I can get away with. I think my back will allow me to perform at least somewhat decently. But again, I'm not a sprinter, and the start scares the crap out of me. You're going to have a ton of people. We start downhill, so there's going to be mayhem. I'm worried about broken equipment or getting stuck behind people and not being able to get around them as the leaders get away. So not ideal, but at least we're going to race today. So we'll see. I brought some beet powder with me on the plane, so I put 4 scoops in there, and it's awful, but here we go. It tastes like dirty mud.
Leppämäki tuli siinä samassa kirjakamppailussa kuin neloskategorian miehet.
Okay, category 7 and 8, please, to the start.
Karolina Pelsen antaa liikkeelle Lotta Aaman Lavinia. Group of people started in category 6. Benjamin Barr finishes 9th in category 3. For 15-11. Ykkös-, ja kolmoskategoria pääosin tullut maali ja nyt sitten on neloskategoria. Hey! maalit kuin iltapäivä palakseen ja ottaa maailmanmestaruuden tässä kuvassa Lundqvistin.
I'm back at the cabin decompressing and processing the 5K race that we just did. And there is so much, we'll just call it frustration, that's bubbling up in me, which is interesting and also problematic. It's interesting because I didn't expect that. This whole training to do a world championships, it's an experiment. I'm really not taking it that seriously. I don't have a training plan. I'm just randomly doing things. Most of them are so gentle and easy, nobody would consider it training. And yet I'm curious, what is the result? Which is why I went into a 5K race thinking that this is not my thing. Like, I'm not good at this because I don't ski fast in training. I don't do intervals. I don't do sprints or speeds, as they call them. Nothing that I do in training would appear to get me ready for a 5K race at top speed. And yet that wasn't the case today. Another huge surprise in this experiment. Anyway, that's why it's interesting. It's problematic because my identity is really upset with what happened in the race. So that's what I'm trying to unpack now. I don't want this experience this week to have any negative residue when it's done. I want this to be a positive learning experience in the midst of an experiment. That's it. I collected some data in some races, and what do I do going forward with that data? Is my training effective? Is this random, gentle, compassionate approach useful for someone that's trying to compete at a world level or not? I don't know. Let's find out. So, where is this frustration coming from? Well, number one, I was terrified of a repeat performance of what happened in 2022 in Canmore, Alberta at the World Championships, where in the first mile of the first two races, I manifested an SVT attack, supraventricular tachycardia, where my heart rate goes up to 200 or so. And I had to drop out of the first two races. The final race, the 45K, the doctors and the US Association contingent leaders, etc., everybody said, we really don't want you to race. You probably shouldn't, but if you want to do a 45-kilometer training ski where you just go out and enjoy the woods of Alberta, which, by the way, it's the most spectacular place I've ever been, you're welcome to do that, but you're going to start in last place. You're going to let everybody go, and then you're going to casually start skiing. You're not going to race. Well, I ended up fourth in that race in a sprint to the finish for the podium. I was 1.8 seconds out of second place and like 0.9 seconds out of third place. Anyway, a gentle ski that got me almost to the podium. So here in Finland, I've been thinking my starts need to be gentle. I can't hammer. I can't in any way trigger my heart. I can't let adrenaline accumulate too much in my body because that's a stimulus for SVT. So, another reason why I didn't think the 5K was going to be my race, because you got to go. So I let the starters take off, and I found myself very quickly sandwiched in the middle of a pack, and you're trying not to get your pole stepped on or your skis stepped on. It's very easy for someone to break your pole. So you have a pole behind you that you planted, somebody steps on it and they break it, and that's it. Your race is over. So I was being really cautious, keeping my arms as close to me as possible, trying not to get my poles too far behind me. There are two sets of classic tracks on the left side of the course. So the skating lane was quite narrow. It was almost two people wide. So we got off and I was probably in 10th place. And I thought, okay, that's fine. We've got time to make up ground. Just stay calm. Don't let your heart get triggered. Keep it low for as long as you can. And a pack of 4 or 5 guys settled in the front, and they were skiing in a train, so one behind the other. And then there were two guys in front of me that were skiing side by side, taking up the whole skating lane. But the lead pack was only 2-3 seconds in front of them. Okay, we're good. And as the race went on, I'm thinking, all right, I'm just coasting. This is not my top speed. I'm just coasting using really efficient technique. It's only a 5K. Maybe I should go for it. Like, this is easy. My heart rate's around 150, 152, which is well below race pace. We're 2 kilometers into the race. I need to go. This is surprising, but this pace isn't my race pace. So let's try to win this damn thing. But I couldn't get around the two guys in front of me skiing side by side. And by the way, they were both from Finland. And I'm wondering if that was like a team strategy, like don't let anybody get up ahead of you. There was, I think, one Finn in the lead pack. And then there was two Estonians. There was somebody from Italy. I think that was the lead pack. And then these two Finns in front of me. And I wonder if they were just trying to block anybody from getting up there. Maybe they knew their best skier was in front and they wanted to protect his opportunity. I don't know. That's pretty common in running races. Team strategy. Anyway, I would go into the classic tracks on the left to try to get around them, but classic tracks are very, very hard and they're, say, 3.5 to 4 inches deep, and your skis and poles keep getting clunky when you try to ski on the classic tracks. So you really can't ski at top speed. So every time I try to pass them on the left, I would slow down and they would pull ahead, so I'd get behind them again. And then I'm thinking, well, I got to pass them on a downhill because you get into the classic tracks on the downhill because it's faster. But their skis were faster than mine. In fact, everybody in front of me had faster skis than me. Frustration. My skis weren't terribly slow, but they would pull ahead of me by a second or two on every downhill, which I could easily make up, but I couldn't pass them on the downhills. I couldn't pass them on the uphills or the flats because they were taking up the width of the trail. So I'm sitting behind them thinking, I gotta go, and the lead pack is right there, and there's nothing I can do about it. So there was this like wild animal that came out of me as I was just scrambling to try to get around these guys, and I was full of almost a rage. That wasn't fun. I didn't like that. Anyway, we get to the last climb, and I'm thinking, this is it. After this last climb, it's a long downhill, then a long flat. And everybody's skis are faster than me on that long downhill. If I don't get ahead on this final uphill, that's it. I'm done. I have no chance. And those guys stayed side by side, which really leads me to believe it was a team strategy, because if you've ever driven on a highway with a car right next to you, it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable to have a car or a skier right next to you. It feels dangerous somehow. But yet they did that the whole race. Nobody would take the lead. They wouldn't go in a two-person train like the 4 or 5 guys in front. So I suspect it was a team strategy. Anyway, couldn't get past them on the final climb. I knew once it ended and we get in the downhill classic tracks, they're all going to pull away from me, and they did. 2 more guys passed me on the final downhill. We get to the flat. I'm in 9th place. They have faster skis. I still can't get around them. But now there's 2 more guys in front of me, separating me from the lead pack, which is, they were probably 4 seconds ahead of us at the top of the final climb, but at the bottom of the downhill, they were probably more than 10 seconds ahead of me when we finally got to the bottom and hit the flats, and everybody started going, and there were just so many people in front of me. I gave up, and I just skied in without even trying to kick. I was just totally done with it. So when I got to the finish line, I was, barely even pushing. I gave up. So I've got that feeling like, all right, I didn't think the 5K was going to be my race, but I ended up finishing 11 seconds out of the win, 9 seconds or maybe 8 seconds off the podium, and my heart rate barely got above 150 in the whole race. I just looked at the data. Like, that clearly was not a race effort for me. So I'm not just making this up. I'm looking at the data and saying, yeah, you were not skiing anywhere near your capacity. You could have won this thing. But they also may have skied faster had I pulled ahead. Had I gone out and tried to take the lead, a couple guys probably would have come with me. So it doesn't mean I would have won the race, but it would have been a fight. Anyway, so here I am, trying to let that go, trying to look at the data and say, Tim, look at the data. You don't do hard training. You don't do fast training. You just randomly train so easily. And you were right there. Even when everything was stacked against you, you were still 11 seconds out of winning a world championship. Look at that data. Forget about the result. Forget about your identity. Forget about the tactics that were going on in front of you. Let it go. You were 11 seconds out of winning a world championship in a fast race that you do not train for. So that's a huge victory. And I've got to remember that moving forward and just let this, let it go. But here's another thing. I know I can ski with these guys. I'm going to meet them again in the next 2 races. And I know I can ski with them. So the experiment so far is a huge success. Now I just need to take my identity and put it to bed and say, it's all good. We're good. This is a success.
Men's category M6. Kolmas ja pronssia. Third and the bronze medalist, Raivo Pänpuu, Viro, Estonia. Second and the silver medalist, toinen ja hopea, Nicola Selon, Italy, Italia. Ja kilpailuvoittoon World Champion Simo Törnvall, Suomi, Finland.
It's 10 o'clock at night and we're walking through the Finnish forest to get to our cabin.